Hello and welcome to the Macho Show. I'm Medusa, and I'm joined by Mr. Mad Cat, as always. How you doing, sir?
Okay, first off, I don't know what the hell that was. And secondly, right before we went live, she hit the button and she's like, I'm like, are you going to suck off that microphone right there? So.
You know it. Oh, fuck. Yes. How is everyone doing? Welcome to the show of the Macho. We got some good stuff for you today. Some serious stuff and some not so serious stuff and some sexy stuff. You know how it is on the Macho Show. Oh. But yeah. Soon Mr. Animancer will be joining us. I'm excited. Was there something we were going to talk about before we went into the email?
No, I decided to postpone that for next week. Since this will be our old year show, and next week will be our New Year show. You see what we did there? Ha ha, hee hee.
Exactly.
And I want to say I'm coming off the flu right now. I'm like 95% feeling better, but I still feel just a little bit. So if my voice sounds a little off, you know why.
I'm not even sick, and my throat is already feeling weird, probably from all the dick sucking. You know, whatever.
Well, given that Andrew's like 8 inches all around, I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Both ways. It's just a sphere.
It's just a Whoa,
Dick sphere.
Hashtag Dick Sphere.
Mr. Misanthropic said your appearance on Gulf City was awesome. Thank you. If you guys haven't seen it, I twerked my way to the top of the international twerk competition on New Year's Eve. So yeah, that was very entertaining.
Why am I now hearing about this? I thought you and me were close.
Man, why were you not looking at my Twitters? I posted
you know how many people I follow on Twitter?
Do you know
how
how many people
on Twitter? I have your phone number for that reason.
Exactly. Dude, you scared the shit out of me like last week or whatever it was because I had a new phone, and like every time I get a call from a random number, I'm like, hey. Oh, but then it was like Arizona. I was like, what? Who the fuck's calling me from here? Oh. Arizona. Oh, no. Oh, I'm punny. Oh. But yeah, welcome everyone. Freedom for all. Of course I was there. I talked about it last time I was on the show. Right. Yeah, he did mention that it was happening last time that he was on the show. Mr. Misanthropic did, because he was the one that introduced me to it, and I had to be like, yo, Ghastly, what's up with this?
What? Oh, like I don't remember what's on the last.
I'm not involved.
Like I remember what was on the last show. I don't even know what month we're in. Hey,
me fucking neither, but you know, whatevs. Just thank you for that, Mr. Misanthropic. Mr. Misanthropic.
Hey, it's Benina and Rex.
Yes, all the good ones.
The people from my other group that I've been ignoring lately. I'm very sorry. It's just like I'm like getting more and more busier, so I just don't have time. Plus, I've been really, really sick, so it's like I think about you guys all the time, but I just yeah.
Same though. Like I've been finally like getting on my art commissions that I've been not having like barely any time for, and That feels good. I mean, kind of like, I mean, there's a lot of people that, not a lot of people, but like a few people are like, yeah, you know, just give me art whenever, and I'm just like, okay, I'll try. But yeah, I need to do some like.
Panina says, you want to know something? Even from a female perspective, Medusa's attractive. But she's not hitting on you, so no mood. You're pointing out an observation.
It's okay. I can still fantasize about her. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But
well,
yeah.
In that fantasy, imagine Panina being the dominant one.
That's fine with me. I can go both ways. In more ways than one. Oh, thank you, Mr. Thank you, sir, for shilling my PayPal. By the way, if you didn't know, you can donate to my PayPal and you'll get stuff. Pretty much anything. Like if I gave someone, I made cookies for someone for donating. You know, like just anything. I got arts. I got farts. Not really. I won't send you a fart. That would be great. Oh, actually, no. If someone paid me to do fart porn, I probably would. Oh, great way to start off the show.
I don't believe in trigger warnings, but if you ever use the word fart porn again, I'm instituting trigger warning on that one. So
okay, trigger warning: fart porn.
Well, sir, if you're having a problem with our customer support, you can call 1-800-EAT-IT.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. So, for our first topic, before we discuss the year in review, we are going to talk about a little more serious topic. I mean, well, I guess a review can be serious or comical, but you know, in comparison, much more serious. And shoot, I don't know. Maybe I should just let you talk about it, because.
All right. It's so since we've been starting this, you know, we've had a contact us, and we're very thankful for that. What the goal of this is, you know, to listen to what people have to say. You know, we encourage them to come on to tell their story, and we do have plans throughout this entire year to bring people on to tell their story. Some people are not comfortable with that, so we encourage them to email us. And about a few weeks ago, I did a recasting of the show, which I've yet to do that again. So I do apologize for that, but I'm just trying to get past the holidays and the sickness. So anyways, while I was doing the show in the chat room, Chris Murphy reached out to me and talked to me about some of the difficulties he's having. I encouraged him to come on the show. If I email you. So Medusa got the email. She sent it to me, and it was a very horrific thing.
Sorry, I just want to really quick. Would you mind muting Discord or whatever it is? Just so we can...
I apologize. Let me exit out of Discord. All right, that's exited out. All right, so it was a very horrific story, and we're not going to go into the full details of it. It's just that horrific. But what it can be summed down to is that you know, he was forced to penetrate, or blowjob, basically, which is a form of penetration, and he was penetrated himself. And this left him feeling, he believed he was bisexual at first because, you know, he ejaculated from it, so he thought he must enjoy it. And then after a bad experience with a woman after that, he convinced himself that he was gay. But sometime after that, he was able to identify that he was actually straight, and that this whole ordeal really messed him up in questioning who he was and what his sexuality is. And he's now getting therapy, but he suffers from PTSD. So that was the basic story there. And, I wanted to say in addition to that, like one of the things that he mentioned was that after, the first few times it happened, like this guy, because he was living at the time, and he was saying that, when they went out with their friends, like this guy would diss him in front of his friends. And I remember that was something that sort of happened to me. Actually, no, that's exactly what happened to me. When I was raped at a young age by my older female cousin, she, after it happened, she would put me down a lot. She would make fun of me all the time. And, it's one of two possibilities. One, these attackers, these abusers were trying to distance themselves from it as much as possible in all other aspects of their lives. Or B, it was a form of control to make someone always feel down, and that the only avenue they can turn to for emotional comfort is the sex, even though the sex was abusive. So, and it's not uncommon for people to begin to question their sexuality when it comes to rape. We only hear about women being raped, though, but men, it really affects us in the same way, but in different ways. But, I have a friend, a female friend, who after she was raped as a teenager, she became asexual. People look at it as, oh, well, there's something wrong with her if she thinks she's asexual. And it's just like, that's her coping mechanism. That the idea of being sexual with anyone else, which she tried. She thought she was a lesbian at first. She tried to be with men, and she just cannot stomach it. But with men, and this is something that I told my last abuser, because she thought everything was fine and I kept telling her it wasn't, is that men internalize a lot of things. And in some ways, we're programmed to forget. But over time, it comes back to us in a much worse way. And sometimes we don't even know what the cause of all of these negative feelings inside of us are. And this is likely what happened with Chris, is that, he's like, oh, I'm gay. And he started doing work with the LGBT, and he's very proud of what he did. But then sooner or later, these feelings came back to him and really hit him hard. And now he has PTSD from something that happened in his early adulthood. And this is something that seems to be ignored by the world at large. It's like, well, if a man can be raped and then treated as like nothing's happened, then we should just like treat it as nothing. And then later, when he comes back and has problems down the line, he's like, well, he's just seeking attention. I mean, if he had a problem with it, why didn't he deal with it when it happened? Men don't work that way. We deal with problems much later down the line because we're told to man up, to walk it off, to bury it. And while I do think men should be encouraged to discuss their feelings when things happen, it's just in our DNA that we're going to deal with it at a later time, and that it should be acceptable to do that. That's all I wanted to say on that.
A couple of things I wanted to add to the to the story. He didn't mention how the guy that he was assaulted by, he was very comforting, and he was basically, he was his friend, and he said he made him feel like he was the only person that actually cared about him, that not even his family cared about him. and basically coerced him into being into coming and living with him. So it was entirely just a manipulation tactic, and it's really sad that you know, he was like, I mean, 18, 19 is you're still a kid, so you're very easily easily manipulated, you know, into doing things that you might not do if you know had an experience like that before. But when you feel like you have nobody, and you know, and you trust someone like that, you know, anything can happen, and you just think, well, maybe this is supposed to happen. So that's pretty much what another, you know, thing that contributed to him not coping in the right way at first, because you know, when something happens like that, I you know, in situations that I've been in the past, I've always you know, pretty much just been like, well, I did this and then this happened, so it's pretty much my fault. And you can't think, you know, it's too black and white like that. You have to be like, well, no, you know, if this was, you know, there's just different ways that when you think about different ways that things could have come out, and what the effects that it's had on you, you know, you gotta reflect on it and realize that it wasn't beneficial. And he said that it was oh, what was it? But pretty much, yeah, it was his only way of coping, was uh turning it into something that he thought that he really wanted. So it's I'm sure that it happens to many victims who men and women who think that it's that it was a positive experience. And you know, there's even what was that? It was like some Republican, like, politician saying, actually it was a while ago that I heard this, that some politician said that women needed to that women could have a positive experience from rape if they try to, or something like that. And it's like, you can't make it a positive thing until you accept that it wasn't, pretty much, and then it becomes a positive thing because you have grown from it and learned from it. And you know, like he said in the email, he doesn't want to be remembered as a survivor, because that's not all he is. He wants to be remembered as a person. And I mean, that's how I feel too. I don't want to be remembered just as someone who survived being sexually assaulted by, you know, men and women throughout my life. That's not, you know, what I'm defined by. It makes me it's made me a stronger person, but it could also have potentially made me into a much weaker person if I didn't have the right you know, people around me. So oh, also one more thing I wanted to mention. He said that it was a book, yeah, a book called Coming Out to Yourself, that didn't believe in bisexual men and or disoriented male victims, and was basically filled with brainwashing, saying that, you know, you have to be gay. So that's another thing to think about when men go out and try to find resources about their sexuality, and or you know, being sexually assaulted. There's really not much, and anything that is there is obviously very biased from what I can tell. So yeah, but if anybody does know of some good resources like books or anything like that for male survivors, that would be helpful.
Well, I do want to say, on the basis of what a lot of you're talking about, there's the part in there where he talks about ejaculating during all of this, and that's what confused him. And I'm thinking about an old clip of Bill Maher talking about that female teacher who raped her student, and he thought it was a glorious thing. And you know, everyone else, and I think Cedric the Entertainer was there as well. It's like, how can you say that's a good thing? That's rape. And he's like, well, how do you fake an erection? You know, if he had an erection,
that's such bullshit. Hello, everyone, by the way.
Hi. How are you?
I was looking at Twitter for a link, but then I noticed, I got it somewhere else. Shit, I should have been in here. It's okay.
It's okay. Let me finish my point real quick, and then we'll introduce you.
Sure.
But, you know, and this is like, not only is this a big problem for men who deal with this, but it's a big problem in our society that's like, well, you know, he had an erection. He ejaculated. So that means he wanted it. And, you know, the fact that this screwed him up so much. I mean, if there were proper resources out there for people that, you know, we should have a campaign that erection doesn't equal consent.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because, and I agree.
You know, how is he supposed to react to that? You know, if he didn't want it, you know, he would have. But we're talking about a forced penetration. That's rubbing up against your
prostate.
I forget which gland. Prostate gland. Even if a girl shoves her finger up there and rubs on that, you're going to ejaculate.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there are women who have orgasm from rape too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's fine, but
I'm done.
That's just what I was about to say. Like, especially for men, it's hard to imagine that they would make those types of arguments. Because what, you've never had an awkward boner before in your life?
Right? Come on.
Like, what?
I'm having an awkward boner now. Oh wait, that's a horrible joke. I apologize.
Not so awkward. Not so awkward.
Not awkward at all. But yeah, I mean, like,
so much of bullshit. Yeah.
There's multiple situations, and I'm sure there's some women who have probably felt fucked up about having an orgasm after being raped. You know, I'm sure it's happened. I'm pretty sure I've heard of someone saying that. It's just been a long time, but yeah, it's like you can't blame yourself for that. I mean, I'm sure that like it is healthy to explore your sexual feelings. Just don't feel bad about it. It's okay.
Yeah, the last thing that anyone should do is feel bad about that type of thing. Like, you've gone through enough bullshit without, like, you know, whipping yourself over it. I guess that's just how I look at it.
Absolutely. It's called milking the prostate.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's a scene in Road Trip where they're at a fertility bank, semen bank, and the guy's trying to hit on the nurse. Is like, "Oh, do you require assistance?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I do." And then she gets out a glove, and this is called milking the prostate. She shoves it up. No! And he hates it at first, but then he really likes it. So,
yeah, my reaction was to reading what Brad said about they electrostimulate bulls to get semen.
Yes, it's called a Barry White CD.
No.
Yeah, there's some very strange ways that people go about getting the sperm.
I mean, I thought the dick casket was weird, or like the cocoon they put the fucking...
Yeah. You would think that they would just let them fuck, right? But no, they have to like do the insemination shit. It's really weird.
Oh, that's so weird. Like, you couldn't stop at the fleshlight. You have to just fucking electrocute his ball. I'm sorry. Okay, we're getting off topic.
No, that was a huge. I don't know what you're talking about. That was a huge part of my 2018 horse balls. I mean, yeah, hell yeah.
You know, we give a lot of respect to Chris for sharing this with us, but we also joke a lot. So please, no one take it that we're trying to make fun of what he's going through.
No, not at all.
Well, I know no one here, but I mean in the audience, is like we're not trying to make light on it. It's just that's just the nature of our show. So
I'm sure he expected that when he emailed us.
Well, he did say number 1, so he didn't. I guess he's now number 27th fan.
Oh yeah, he said he was like the number one fan in whatever Prince Edward Island. That is the UK, right? Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
yeah, that's one of their overseas territories, I think. Maybe I'm fucking wrong, but sounds like it. Well, oh no, that's actually in Canada. Prince Edward Island it's one of their provinces in Canada.
Oh, thank you. You're smart.
Yeah, I'm something.
But yeah, he did say that he recently in October he started getting therapy, which is awesome. And he was put on antidepressants and he said he's using a combination of mindful techniques and the antidepressants to deal with his depression and PTSD. So yay, I'm very, very glad to hear that
I hope everything works out for him.
Yeah, me too. Therapy helped me a lot when I just couldn't really cope that well with my anxiety, and I think it was a combination of anxiety and depression because like I still have anxiety, but I'm not self-harming anymore. So I definitely feel like talking and just hearing a professional perspective that's like non-judging can be very very helpful depending on who you go to.
It helped me during a pretty dark place in my life. I mean, I don't need it these days, but it can definitely. I feel like a lot of people who get to that point, they just think that there's no chance for them to get anything out of professional help, and it's just like you might as well give it a try, because if you're feeling that shitty, it's worth giving anything a try, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would definitely feel anxiety if I was a hot woman. So, but with psychology, it's like anything else. I mean, you got to shop around. You know, not every person you meet is going to approach psychology the same way. I think a lot of professionals out there are morons. And I study psychology as a hobbyist, and I think, wow, these people are way off. But there are some good ones out there. And, you just got to shop around, do your research, go on Yelp, talk to people who go and see professionals. And you're bound to find someone who can help you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Someone in the chat said, mushrooms really help with PTSD. Do not try mushrooms unless you know what you're doing.
And have a buddy, or preferably several.
Okay, point of contention. He didn't say mushrooms. He said mushrooms. So
mushrooms, yeah. Don't do mushrooms.
He might be on mushrooms right now. That's why he thinks it's called mushrooms, but
there's so much room in here. Oh, my boobies just jiggle so much when I laugh. Okay, but yeah, I tried mushrooms.
Everyone make her laugh.
But yeah, okay.
Let's get some real comedians in the chat. Yeah, come on.
But no, I tried mushrooms the first time. If you take a small dose, it's okay. You just kind of feel drunk. Do not take more than
you should.
Yeah, just play it by ear or like by taste.
Yeah, if you're like, man, I'm not feeling anything at all, and you just don't just keep going. Like, give yourself some time, like an hour or two or more.
Someone said, okay, he said 2 to 4 caps tops. I would say 3 tops, because I tried 3 and one had a very big spore on it, and I felt horrible. Like I wasn't like suicidal or anything, but I was feeling like every single emotion at once. I was just constantly crying and like thinking about everything I ever regretted, and I don't think that would be good for someone.
I don't want to be in
PTSD.
that like I don't want to be in that type of state of mind where I'm like that self-reflective that I'm just like I'm starting to think about my self-reflection and I'm starting to think about my self-reflection of my self-reflection.
Yeah.
And, like, is life really worth living, and do we actually exist, and like is life a figmentation? You know what I mean? I don't want to start thinking about that type of shit.
Yeah, right.
No,
I think I'm on mushrooms now after listening to that. I have not taken mushrooms. I don't know. I've never really found anyone in my life I could trust to do that around. Like, there's this one time, guys from work, they were doing like heroin and coke and all of that, and one of them was like, "Man, you should try some coke," and I'm like, "No, thanks." They're like, no, man, you should really try it. And I'm like, at that point, I instantly just trusted him. Because I felt like, how do I know this person's not going to like draw dicks on my face or leave me in a ditch somewhere? So,
yeah, like
if I'm going to do that shit, I want to 100% trust the person.
Like it's one thing to offer once, right? But if you refuse and they're like, "Come on, man," like that's instantly a bad sign, with anyone that you're interacting with, in my opinion, anyway.
Should we get to our main topic now? Because, I mean, the letter leads into it.
I wanted to say hi to my friend Tommy in the chat. He's been, he said he was going to mention random shit that sucked about the year. So,
sweet. There's a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, John, the guy who was talking about the shrooms, he said he tried half a baggie all at once by himself, and it was the best high and worst come down ever. And you must have been in like a really good state of mind, because like if personally, I would have freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
I did try coke once, but all it really did was just make me sleepy.
But no, acid is better than.
But then I've also tried pot several times, and I just can't get into pot. It's just like there's in my brain taking over my brain, and my immediate reaction is to fight against it. Like, my brain has to be in total control, so very bad. The whole
for me, it does a lot for my anxiety, so that's why I like to use it. And
oh my god, we have to smoke together.
Yeah, we do. That will be awesome.
Please.
Yeah, definitely.
But I might be willing to try pot again, but my other pot friend told me it's like, you're probably using too strong of stuff, like the most mild pot.
Yeah.
And either stay there or ease yourself. But it's like every pot person that wanted me to smoke pot is like, this is the best shit you can get.
People.
And I'm like, who are you trying to convince here?
Right. Like, this will get you fucking blasted. Like, I don't want it to.
Yeah, let's not start someone off with like one of their first experiences. Me like, let's get you real fucked up the first time, so you think it's way worse than it is. It's like
also never do spice ever. Never do synthetic marijuana.
No,
people die.
So you don't want me to use oregano?
No. Oregano's good as fuck. So it's the next time I'm in your area, I'm freaking drunk. Oh, but yeah, no, if you're gonna do a hallucinogen, I would do either DMT or acid. I haven't tried DMT, but all of the experiences that I've heard have been good. Actually, no, I did try changa. It was not the same experience. Changa, if someone tries to sell you changa and tells you it's DMT, don't.
DMT.
But yeah, 2018 review.
I guess the first big thing to talk about is the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
That just went all over the place. But, the funny thing that I felt about it was, when it initially started, men started reporting on it. And at first they were encouraged, but then when they started to get any traction, it was like, no, 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 it's just for women. And then after the Kavanaugh thing, him too started to come out. And once again, it was like, oh, well, these are just men trying to take away status from women, trying to become victims. And it's all about false rape accusations. And it's just like, it's so funny to me how, like, it's not haha funny. You know, I expect it to happen, but it's just like right away, it has to be the erasure of male victims. Men cannot be victims of anything, and that's all Me Too has ever been about. You know, I don't care that Weinstein has raped so many women. You know what? It's their own fault. And let me explain. Because the woman before, she got raped and then used it to build herself as a star. In fact, I'm more angry about all of those other women that came before that one who finally reported it and have been going on for like 20, 30, 40 years.
I mean,
so all of those women
fucking saying something.
Yeah, and I think a big problem of it is that people try to make this, especially with all the celebrities targeted by Me Too, they try to make it all about the fact that these people are men when it's just the fact that they're fucking rich and they have tons of fucking money. And this happens, you know, with anyone who has that much fucking money. If you look into their fucking past, you'll find tons of fucked up shit. And that's just the way of it. It just so happens that for these individuals, it's there's some sexual allegation shit, which is just being used to capitalize on, because that's the outrage culture that we live in here in 2018, or well, not 2018 anymore. Well, we lived in it, but it's just gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse this year before it gets better, unfortunately. But I think in a few years from now, or maybe even just in a couple, people are gonna. It's kind of gonna be sad in a way, because like rape allegations are gonna be like so like watered down and diluted that most people aren't gonna take them seriously anymore at all, which you know is I guess it's better than how it is now, but still that could mean that some people that are actually like troubled by that type of shit could end up like not seeing justice for it, and that's fucked up, all just because some people took it too far.
Well, one positive thing that has happened as far as that goes is I'm starting to see more news reports, at least on written media, like on websites, about false allegations of rape.
Yeah, it is getting better.
It's getting discovered. Now, I don't know if this is because they're now going out and looking for it, or if it's just becoming more numerous. And I'm kind of believing the latter, that while it did exist like 5-10 years ago, and it was still a pretty big number, now women like, oh, well, I can just say I was raped and everyone will feel sorry for me. And that's where
Daddy will be mad that I failed my test.
There's also a bigger amount of people increasingly that take these types of things seriously when it comes to men, and you know, want to treat it with the same respect. So there's a market for it. So that means that there's going to be more people reporting on it, and more people writing about it, and more people trying to cater to people with those ideas, which is a good thing, because there should always be more diversity. I think that there should be as much diversity in viewpoints given out by media outlets as possible. I think that that shows that we're in a good, I don't even know what the fucking word is, but a good talking space, I guess, on the internet and in elsewhere in life.
Well, did you guys here, I don't remember if it was this year or last year, but one thing I did see was that what the fuck is her name? Melanie Martinez.
I think that's that sounds familiar. Yeah,
I think that's her name. But she actually, I'm gonna Google it really quick. Yeah, Melanie Martinez. Yeah, she's a singer, and she was accused by a girl on Twitter of by like one of her best friends or something like that, of basically like sexually assaulting her. And there were actually a lot of women that were like, oh well, I'm not her fan anymore, Melanie Martinez is dead, and all this shit. And that made me feel like kind of hopeful. I was like, well, good, at least some people are fucking, you know, shunning women for fucking
people are gonna get more and more tired of all the bullshit, right? I mean, I'm seeing it more and more every day. Like, I'm seeing more and more people like who are just really tired of all this fucking shit, and eventually it's going to, you know, eventually things are all gonna flip, and I think the majority of people will see more like on this side of the issue. And it's going to be interesting because then eventually, like, people are going to take that to too much of an extreme, and no one. It's very rare that people ever come to a sensible, like, middle ground on anything. Like, people don't want to have a real discussion; they just want to appeal to a certain tribe or a tribalistic idea. And I feel like the people who come in the center just get drowned out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll report on two people real quick. That's related to everything we're talking about. The first is Al Franken, and I believe it was this past year where he was accused of sexual assault, and yet everyone on the left supported him. And this is supposedly the same left that says you have to believe all women. And it was one of the rare instances where that's happened, because there's other people on the left who were demonized when there was an accusation lobbied against them. And that brings me to my second person, Will Wheaton. You know, Will Wheaton has been like squarely in the left. I mean, he wrote an article on Anita Sarkeesian. He has dumped all over Gamergate and basically the men's movement. And he likes to shoot himself in the foot and then stuff it in his mouth, like the argument he made about, you know, prayed for the survivors of the church attack. And he's like, yeah, because prayer did a lot for them. I mean, he's an asshole. And he decided in a big push, because Twitter wouldn't ban Alex Jones, which that was a big thing of 2018. He decided to, what was it, Mastodon he went to? It was one of those social networks that was very, very left-leaning. And within a few days of being, well, actually, once he made his big push from Twitter, just being on there, he was accused of being anti-trans, being transphobic. And nothing he could say could dissuade people from believing this. And eventually, he was suspended on this site, and he just felt, I think, or he just decided to leave. But it's like, and yeah, I was kind of hoping that maybe Will Wheaton might have reflected upon this, because I actually read his blog post, and he was very upset about this, that anyone could believe something so horrific about him. But I think we're going to start seeing that, because the left attacks their own. It doesn't matter what you have done to support. It matters what's the most recent thing you've done, and whether or not we can ruin your life as a result of it. That's all the left cares about, is can we destroy your life?
The perfect example. Sorry. The perfect example of that in 2018 has got to be James Gunn, right? And what happened to him?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Perfect example. Like he did those movies, The Guardians of the Galaxy, and he got fired from Marvel for some shit that he said on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. Years ago.
Years ago. Yeah.
What did he say?
I don't remember exactly. It was some off-color joke, right?
Jeez.
Well, he used to work for a company that just made a lot of off-color humor. And when he went away from them and was hired by Disney to do Guardians of the Galaxy, he, of course, apologized for those things. And I think he also deleted those tweets. And then someone somewhere along the line saved pictures of them, and in 2018 brought them up again, and Disney just fired him. And he profusely apologized for them, but it's like, oh, well, people suddenly hate you now, so we're going to fire you.
See, this
it also happened to Roseanne.
Yeah, this is why I'm never going to get in a contract with anybody, because well, I'm going to be like, look at my Twitter first, then decide.
Yeah, exactly, right? Look at all my social media, every single post, and then if you still want to work with me, then we can talk after you've scrubbed every single bit of me.
After you see my fat ass.
Yeah, seriously, you gotta see everything.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, it's not something you could just avoid, because the only one can bring popularity to yourself or your product is to be on social media. You can't just stop using social media if you want to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. That's the thing. Like, I say this all the time. I need to use every single social media outlet possible to just try and get my shit out there, or else it just doesn't see an audience. I have to use Twitter. I have to use Facebook. I have to use YouTube. I have to use Twitch. I could fucking go on. There's more.
Yeah, right.
But I have to use a lot of them. That's the fucking point. So, especially if I was to get banned on one of those, it would be a big problem for me.
Same.
I have to use dickpics.org.
Oh shit! Yeah. I should start using that as a platform too. I'm sure people on there would like my show.
Wasn't there? There's this fucking website that I used to go to called like isanybodyup.com or some shit like that, and it was just like random dick pics and like titties and shit that people would upload.
Cool.
Like it was all like user uploaded content. It was great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Just say,
you know,
I want to see my titties. Here's my titties.
Yes, I do want to see your titties. I've been asking for 3 years now.
Go to that website and maybe they're on there.
Yeah, maybe. You have to do some digging.
But you know, I also think about Roseanne, and that was a big controversy.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Because you know, back in the day, like when the first Roseanne show ran, everybody messed up as bad as she did, and yeah, she messed up, and yeah, she was under the influence of drugs, so I'm willing to give her. And I don't think she was trying to be racist. I think people just like, oh, it's a gorilla, so it must be she was black. I mean, remember how many people thought Harambe was racist because black people and gorillas are
who did she
dark?
say looks like a gorilla?
She was talking about, I guess, some former aide of Obama.
Oh.
And, you know, I thought this woman was white, but apparently she's black. She's like a really light-skinned black person.
See.
But, you know, instead of putting her in front of the TV and saying how bad her actions were, which was done during my childhood, instead she's just immediately fired. And the joke is on ABC because they tried to do a show without Roseanne.
Yeah.
Roseanne signed away the rights to the show. It's like, if you want to continue, go ahead, because she supported all the other people who were a part of that show and she didn't want to affect their lives. So she's a class act.
Yeah.
And the show bombed. You can't have a Roseanne show without Roseanne.
Yeah, exactly. That's like trying to do a Fresh Prince revival without Will Smith. Right? Can you even imagine that? Like, that'd be crazy.
People don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. Like, I am so disappointed with like new, like, TV shows and movies in general. Like, I've been watching King of the Hill, and they got some quality shit, man.
Yeah, that show ended before it could get bad. You know, it was good.
Right? I mean, like, some of the shit that they have on there, like, is like up there with like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you've ever seen that, like, they get into some crazy shit. And what was it? There was this like. Some kind of Fine Bros bullshit where they were like,
oh, the Swine
Will
Brothers.
it hold up? Or how does it hold up? Or some fucking shit like that. And fucking, they were looking at having teens look at Seinfeld. And yeah, it was really bad. Like, it I showed it to Andrew and it pissed him off so much that he like started telling people about it. He was like, I can't believe these fucking kids.
Yeah, sometimes I watch something.
Nazi.
Sometimes I watch something too where I'm just like, man, this is I can't stand this, and I have to tell someone about it, right? You know,
dude, yeah,
that's basically why I live stream, right? I mean,
right, exactly. YouTube.
You know, I think now that you mentioned that, I think this year there was an article about how bad the show Friends was. Like, it was anti-gay or homophobic. It was fat shaming. It was all these things. And it's just like, we started to see in 2018, especially, where we take all of these really old things and put it in the context of now, how horrible they are. Even though during their time, they were perfectly fine.
Dude, I would never imagine a show as vanilla as fucking Friends to come under fire, dude, by like concerned like parents and SJWs and all that type of shit. Like I would just never imagine ever in my life, but we've come to that.
And yet they did.
I mean, things like Sex in the City exists. They're fucking picking on other shit. Oh, it's literally sex.
I feel like I grew up in the last decade of like sanity before like political correctness came into like.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh,
let's go back.
Let's go back.
Well, maybe you did. I felt like that. I was in, and my generation was like the last stable generation before we just got dumber and dumber. Man,
it's like I was talking to Tommy earlier today about the movie fucking Idiocracy, like just becoming like that. Oh, he's like, soon the vegans are gonna want to feed the plants Gatorade. Oh fuck.
And Alex Jones is gonna be behind it, dude. It's gonna be amazing.
Exactly. It turns the freaking frogs gay, man.
Turns the freaking frogs gay.
Oh, someone said they had college kids watch Friends too, and they freaked the fuck out.
They freaked out? So college kids? That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, they said it was transphobic because Chandler's dad was a drag queen.
Oh yeah, it's racist. It's breakfast. It's all those words.
What's wrong with drag queens now? Are drag queens bad now? Well, actually, no. I have heard people say that they're bad. No, they banned drag queens from the Pride Parade, didn't they?
Yeah, I think I did recall hearing about that because they were like they claimed it was insensitive, right, to real transgender people. Like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. How you gonna say that shit? You know?
Oh my god. What the fuck? I mean, sorry, I'm reading the chat.
Reading the chat.
It's a slur against whatever it's called now. Oh, so drag queen is a slur now? Well, cross-dressing doesn't exist anymore, apparently.
Yeah, people do that too. I feel like everyone forgets. Yeah, it's transgender appropriation, right?
Oh my god.
Well, I think their other problem was that Chandler grew up such a screwed up person because his parents divorced and one of them became a drag queen.
Oh.
I believe the dance troupe they were a part of was Viva Las Vegas.
Well, in my animated series that I'm going to create one day, I have a gay group in prison called the Fagettes. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow. I want to watch that shit right now. You guys need to fund this and make this happen.
Please help me and be a voice in it, because I want all my friends to be voices in the fucking show.
And I get writing credit.
Wait, what'd you say?
And I get to be a writer.
A writer? Oh, okay. You don't wait, like a writer in the show or a writer for the show?
Yes.
No, dude. You can be like a crazy, because the basis of the show is that there's like these rival TV stations. You could be like a crazy writer for a TV station. That would be fucking dope.
So you want me to play myself then?
Yes. Exactly.
You depicting yourself, dude.
I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be Medusa. And there's gonna be let's see, fucking Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Oh my god.
Oh god, no, I gotta stop giving away my secrets. Someone's gonna steal.
Yeah, don't give away your entire plot. Hollywood will steal that shit.
No, it's mine. Oh, but yeah, if anybody wants to help me write that shit.
Oh yeah, I'll help you write it. I'm a writer. I write shit, dude. I'll write it for you.
Yes, please. But
if anyone else has any memories for 2018 of the fucked up shit we saw, please post it, because
yeah. I do have one thing.
This was the year of the woman. Everyone remember in 2017, they're like, 2018 is going to be the year of the woman.
Yeah. Well, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. No, shit.
Well, while you remember that, I will report. Go ahead.
I was going to say one last thing about the show. There's a character who is trans whose name is Tyranny. So it's literally like just the worst puns possible. But his original name was Tyler. Oh, okay. Anyways. 2018.
So, well, I want to report on something that's kind of a result of 2018, but it's happening in 2019. But I was telling Medusa about this earlier, that many cities are canceling their Women's Day celebration, their Women's Day parade. Chicago and Louisiana, or New Orleans, is canceling because they were very anti-Semitic. Like, the problem is all the white male Jews. Well, guess who has all the money? White male Jews. So if you want them to support your little thing, you got to learn to suck a little. That's what I
was gonna say.
Trying to think.
Those marches are a waste of money.
Sports.
Those marches are a waste of money anyway. It's crazy how much money we waste here in America on fucking frivolous bullshit that could be spent on improving our infrastructure and making for a better living environment for all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the funniest one, and Mr. In the chat just commented on this, but in California, they have canceled it because they're afraid of it being too white. Even though the area they're putting it in is a predominantly white area. But it's like, there'll be too many white people here, so we're not going to put it on.
It's because more white women attend because they fucking
can.
They think that they have to be saviors.
Yeah. They don't have anything better to do, honestly.
I mean, just the fact that they have women speakers, like the one woman. Well, first of all, women who support Sharia law, they've had to speak at women's marches. It's fucking stupid. Second, this other woman, I don't remember her name, but she's a piece of shit. She like sodomized and murdered a man with a bunch of other women, and she went to jail for it, and now she's a fucking, and she wrote a book about it, and now she's a fucking like famous feminist for some reason, and they have her speak at women's marches. Why?
It's Linda Sour.
Yes, that fucking bitch. Oh god, like that shit. When I read that shit, I was like, do they just not care, or they just not know? Like, I don't. Oh, you think they do these fucking background checks or something? Like, fuck. They're just like, no, shh, that didn't happen. This is fine.
Yeah, sweep it under the rug. It never happened. And by the way, let's just keep having these people at our conventions too.
Yeah, shouting "kill all white men." Yay. Yeah. Fuck.
Well, you know, it's funny to me that, you know, I see the sign that says women's rights are human rights. And I think they should change that sign to women's rights are blacks' rights. Because that's really what's becoming.
I mean, in a way, yeah, but it's like not for the right reasons at all. It doesn't make
sense. No, not at all. It's a hodgepodge of misguided beliefs that really doesn't have any solid conclusion or what I'm trying to say is a bunch of ideas that don't come together to mean anything that makes sense or has any consistency, right? So that's why there's so many. That's why you can find so many feminists saying stupid things, because they're just making this shit up as they go. If they're challenged on any level, they haven't thought about the ideology that they've adopted, right? They haven't thought about it that much, so they're just trying to improvise and rationalize on the top of their head what the fuck that they believe. It's really quite sad and pathetic if you think about it.
Right. I do want to mention a couple good things that happened this year.
Yeah, a couple. There was a couple.
Was it?
Well, I want to comment on Aziz Ansari? Because wasn't he criticized for treating women properly on dates?
Bro, he's such a feminist too. Ah. Oh God, yeah. There's so many, like Louis C.K. I love him, but he says a lot of feministy shit, and now he just went off of the face of the earth and suddenly came back. But he suddenly like disappeared for a while because he was like, "Oh fuck, I got a fucking accusation and all this Me Too shit's going on. I better get the fuck out of here." But like, it's happening to so many like dudes who are like on board with feminism. Like, is it gonna happen to Jordan Peele next? Maybe it already has. I don't even know.
They're coming. They're coming for fucking everyone. They're gonna come for everyone.
I'm coming.
Next is gonna be Steve. Oh shit.
Sorry.
Next is gonna be Steve Shives.
Does he still exist?
Oh my god, I man, that's the first time I've thought about Steve Shives in a very long time. But yeah, he does. He does still exist. He makes content.
Actually, he's been doing a lot of shit about Star Trek.
Oh, really?
I see it in my feed, and I'm like, why is Steve Shives on my feed? But he's like, why Barkley was the best character ever, or why this is so wrong about Star Trek. And I'm like, really? Has he just been such pussy whip that he can't talk about any serious shit anymore? He has to talk about Star Trek. And no offense to people who do Star Trek videos, I watch those, but it's like, this is the guy who attacked religion, a guy who attacked the men's movement, and now he's just doing Star Trek? The coward.
Yeah, just doing small talk about like little like media shit, so that way he doesn't get any flack or negative attention, because he just can't handle that shit anymore. I guess he got it so much for so many years because he said so much gullible, stupid shit, because he's so whipped, so he just can't even be bothered to even put his opinion out there anymore. It's pretty sad.
Right.
Oh, another good thing. I think it was Miss Spain who got to be a contestant in the Miss Universe pageant, and she's transgender.
Wait, what? There's a transgendered Miss Universe contestant?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she's Spain, and she was allowed to compete in the Miss Universe beauty pageant. I don't know if she won. Someone will have to correct me on that. But and it caused a controversy because she's not technically a woman, but she does look like one, and in some ways she looks a lot better than many of the other women.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I don't see an issue as long as it actually looks
take
like.
away the fucking swimsuit thing. Or what?
Yeah.
Was that Miss America? What was it? I don't even
know. Yeah, I think that was Miss America. I think
oh, shit.
One of those fucking pageants.
The problem I have with it, by itself, it's nothing, but it represents a larger problem because, like, you know, MMA had the controversy where a male fighter decided he was a woman and started competing in the women's part of MMA and became a champion.
Yeah, I think
because she was far.
I think that's a little bit more controversial because, like, women and men have physically different builds, so there could be an advantage that, you know, someone who was born male could have over, you know what I'm talking about? So that's a little bit different than something that's based on just appearances, but I do see what you mean. Yeah. It could be a slippery slope, and that would get people thinking in that type of mindset, which is just not healthy. But yeah,
we're starting to have the problem with the Olympics, that the Olympics is going to start allowing transgender people to compete in the gender of their choice. And it's like, you know, if I'm a man and I can't compete on a man's level, all I have to do is say I'm a woman and beat out all of the women.
Mm-hmm.
The worst male athlete is usually still better than most female athletes. That's not such a statement, that's a fact.
Just because of physicality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I mean, like, fuck. Like, yeah, it's much different when you're like, I mean, sure, maybe like how, you know, a transgender woman could compete in Miss Universe. I'm sure a transgender man could try and compete in a, what is it? It's not Mr. Universe, is it? What is it? Fucking
Mr. Bonerverse or something like that. I don't know.
It's the I don't know, whatever the fuck it is,
The Boner Awards. Come on.
the big buff dudes.
There is a universe competition, but that's a weightlifting competition.
Yeah, I'm sure that they could do that because that's okay. I'm talking about the one where it's about like the glamour muscles. They could do glamour muscle like competitions, I'm sure, because steroids give you muscles. But it's much different than the actual physical build. And like if you're going to say is the gender of your choice, then like why even have gendered competition?
Exactly, right? But then if they got rid of that, then they would complain that it's sexist because men always win, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, that'd be so funny. It completely backfires and only men.
It would. It totally would. I don't even need to think about it to know that it would. It would.
God.
And that's why I bring this up. Like I said, by itself, I don't care. But it represents a much larger problem that, look at Bruce Jenner. He becomes a woman and he's suddenly Woman of the Year. For what? Having his penis chopped off? He doesn't do pretty much anything. But that's just the way it's going to be. That if you become a transgender woman, suddenly you have a higher status than actual women.
It is true though. Like, who was talking about Bruce Jenner before he became transgender, right?
Very, very true. Speaking of Bruce, I have a much more attractive Bruce.
Yeah, better Bruce. Best Bruce.
Someone pointed out my my Bruce Lee drawing.
Best Bruce, dude. The best one.
You know what?
Although the second best Bruce is Campbell.
Yeah, well, what pissed me off the most about that is that it's like they acted like Bruce Jenner never fucking existed. Like after that, it's like he fucking did. He fucking in history. It's documented.
He was a person. What, do you just not want me to acknowledge someone's entire life, even though like they've already had the majority of their life happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this person died, and then this person was reborn at like 56.
It's 61.
We're not allowed to talk about Bruce Jenner's past accomplishments. Being Olympic gold medalist. That's one of the highest you can get in the world, and we're supposed to ignore that because this chick now exists.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to say Bruce Jenner, dude.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, some Mr. Misanthropic pointed out that he killed someone and they just kind of swept that under the rug. But being trans is like the bravest thing ever. God, I loved the South Park episode on that. Have you seen it, Matt Cat?
No.
Oh God, where they like fucking just guilt Stan into was it Stan or Kyle? I don't remember. I feel like it was Stan. They guilted him into saying that it must have been Kyle, I think. I don't know. But they guilted one of the kids into saying that Caitlyn Jenner is beautiful and amazing and like all this shit.
Oh, how terrifying.
Oh God, it was amazing. And Cartman turns into a social justice warrior.
He's always kind of sounded like one, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Social justice warriors are just bullies with
They sound like Cartman. Yeah, well, some of them sound like Cartman. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I did sort of see the episode where he decided to be a girl just so he could use their restrooms.
Yes. That's oh my god, no, what I loved about that, I saw that episode the other day, like the beginning of the episode, and he was walking in and I was like, this isn't a new episode, is it? Because I didn't remember the beginning. And he was like, I'm gonna do it, today's the day, no one's gonna know. And they were like setting it up for him going and shooting up the school, but then it ended up he was just like, that's it, I can't take it anymore, puts on a bow, I'm a girl.
Yeah, that's how it works in real life. That's
oh God, I wish it was that easy when I was going through some kind of weird phase in high school. I don't know where I wanted to be a boy. Did you guys see? Well, I know Magcat knows about it, but have you seen my phase of boyishness?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I thought you were a boy.
Yeah, no, well, kind of on the inside, I feel like I'm a little, I've got some good masculine qualities, but
yeah,
on the outside, I prefer to be all woman.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so when I was like 16, I was just really obsessed. Well, I still am. I was really obsessed with gay culture and gay porn. And yeah, I was just like, I really just want to be a gay dude. Like, like I really love dicks, but I want to be a dude sucking dick. And honestly, if I could be a dude for a day, I would. But I don't want to. I like my body the way it is.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. It's one thing to flip a switch, right? But it's another thing to be like, let's get on some hormones and get it.
Yeah.
So Medusa,
I definitely did dress up and like do like the binder thing for a while though.
The binder thing.
Medusa. For 2019, I officially declare
a macho man. Oh, finally.
Yeah,
you can only use 6 seconds of that, or else YouTube will come after you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have.
Whoa.
So, well, we're talking about good things that happened this year, and I think probably one of the greatest things that happened this year was Netflix releasing American Circumcision. And while I would argue that that film didn't go far enough, it did really present the issue for a lot of people who don't really know anything about it, like as a good introductory to what's going on.
Yeah, that's always good to get it out to a wider audience who might not even know about the issue. I think it's an important stepping stone to have that type of shit, especially on something like Netflix.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, I don't think I've seen this specific film yet, but I've seen a lot of like independent circumcision films on YouTube in the past, so I feel like, I mean, I'm probably going to end up watching it anyways, but I feel like it's probably just, you know, going to be mostly stuff that I already know, but it's going to be, I'm sure that, like, to people that don't know anything about it, you know, it's very, I mean, when people, I'm guessing when people scroll by something like that, they're just like, why the fuck is there a documentary about this if they don't know anything about it? So, you know, just the fact that it makes people ask, like, what is this? It's like, I think that's a good thing. And the fact that feminists were outraged at the judge ruling in favor of the doctor who performed the female circumcision. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anything that pisses off a feminist makes me happy, so at least on some level. So.
Well, there was actually something I learned watching the film that I didn't know before. And it really, really shocked me how ignorant doctors are. I don't know if this is just an excuse they use, but until, like, what was it, 1989, doctors believed that babies couldn't feel pain.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, a newborn baby was incapable of feeling pain, and they just cried as a response of wanting something. So when they circumcised these baby boys and they were crying, they told themselves, well, they can't feel pain anyway, so it's not a big deal.
What other lies have I been told? It's fucked up. Dude.
I don't even know how to feel about that. That just kind of drained my entire, like...
Yeah. What? Like that...
I don't even know, like, you know?
Mindfuck. Like, why? Wait, where did you learn this?
It was from the American Circumcision Netflix thing.
Oh, man.
They talked about it in there, that doctors firmly believe that newborn children couldn't feel pain.
I don't know how to feel about that at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to get inebriated so I can forget about that as soon as possible. But no, people should watch that. People should watch that, definitely. I definitely should in my spare time if I have a chance. Interesting.
Definitely. I mean, just the fact that I didn't know that. I mean, shit. Oh fuck. I mean, well, what was it? The red pill was. I think that was a very good start as well. That wasn't on Netflix though, was it? I think it was on like Hulu.
It should be though.
Yeah, maybe eventually it
Although
will be.
Jay's going to be making a new documentary. She hasn't announced what it's going to be yet, but she's sent out an email to people telling them that she's going to start working on a new documentary.
Awesome. I would love to make a documentary with someone. Oh, actually, I do know a cinematographer. I could ask him to help me out during if we ever did a meetup somewhere.
Mr. asked, the red pill was made by a feminist, wasn't it? And that's a trick question. It was made by a feminist, but she's not a feminist any longer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Tommy, good point. Some small Jewish communities will perform a bris and suck the blood out of the baby's penis after they perform the circumcision. The rabbi, not a doctor. And some babies have died and contracted herpes and AIDS and all kinds of stuff from this shit. So fuck those people.
I'm gonna need a lot more weed than this. I mean tobacco.
Okay, you're going to need to share it with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, good thing that happened this year. Didn't Canada legalize weed?
Oh yeah, thank God, something good. Yeah, Canada came to their senses and decided to do something before the U.S. Right? Yeah.
I do want to talk about one last thing with American circumcision before we move on to weed. We're going to need it. I mentioned that it didn't go far enough, and one thing I would like to see mentioned more often is the finances behind circumcision. And a lot of people don't know this, but hospitals make money off of circumcised skin. And, you know, it's used for medical research. It's used for cosmetic products.
I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but Sandra Bullock has admitted to getting penis facials. So it's not.
Yeah, there was a recent story. I don't think it was Sandra Bullock, but it was another famous actress. Well, there are multiple ones, but very recently there was a woman who's like, she got South Korean baby foreskins all on her face to help rejuvenate her skin. But we're talking about something that sells for like thousands of dollars, and especially because now it's in the decline, it's selling for more and more. But imagine a hospital that has like 100 babies born in a year. They sell it for $1,000 each, and I don't know the exact pricing. That's $100,000 extra in a year. So there is definitely a financial motive behind American circumcision. Gee, I wonder why the Pediatric Association of America says it's a good thing.
Dude, I just prayed to Thor, Odin, and all my fucking gods that exist, man, and I was just like, make this shit fucking stop. I can't stand this shit anymore. That was like one of the worst things. Okay, you know what? I can say this with confidence right now. That's the worst thing I've heard all year. I wonder how long it will take that to be dethroned. It will take something very, very devious to overthrow hearing. Gross. I can't even finish my sentence, man.
Nah.
That's disgusting. Fuck.
I mean, why would you get a fucking baby penis facial when you can just call some adults to do that on your face while they consent? Like that'd be totally fine. That sounds like a good Saturday night to me.
It's because the skin is from a newborn baby, so their cells are healthier than pretty much any other person in their life. So because they're new, they help you. they're just healthier. Can't really go into too much explanation.
I wish I could destroy like the planet right now.
Oh my god. Oh. Man, I mean, see, like literally, just get someone to come on your face. Don't spend thousands of dollars to.
Yeah, but the problem with coming on someone's face is that you then have to like do a reach around, and girls are just not into that.
Wait, what? How does that work? I'm not gonna think about that too hard. Oh, but yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, I knew about that like a while ago, but yeah, let's change the topic to something much more delicious. And let's see. Well, actually, well, the fact that, I mean, well, Tommy mentioned that, you know, they've recognized that weed kills cancer cells. I mean, I've heard multiple studies about that, but I don't know. I already know if we can do all this magical stuff, just legalize it.
I know, right? You'll quickly discover a lot more once it's legal and people are able to do more
right? Like,
with it.
Wow, we can live forever!
Wow, weed gives us immortality the whole time?
Well, you know, and that's another case of follow the money. If weed becomes legalized, it would replace a lot of drugs by drug companies that they depend on hospital using in large amounts. So they put pressure on the government to classify it as one of the worst drugs possible, even though it's not.
Yeah, here's the thing about that too, though. Like recently here, like in my state, it was legalized, right? And it's a very small state, right? One of like the smallest in the entire USA. And within like the first day, there was already millions and millions of dollars made by the industry. And, like just one day of the shops being open, like so much fucking money was made. So there is money in it, and I'm sure like the big corporations will get their hand in weed eventually and try and make their fair share off it. It's just like I don't really see what the issue is, because they could have done that at any time. They could have stuck their fingers in it, and then they would have been the ones that came through and pushed for the legalization, and that would have been a very nice PR stunt, I guess. But,
well, for the 2016 election, for Arizona, one of the ballot options, what are they called? But it was for legalization of pot. And even though I don't smoke pot, I actually supported the legalization, especially since they said that the taxes made from pot would have gone back into the education system, which still hasn't received the money that was taken from them as far as taxes are concerned from 2008. When the recession happened, they started taking money away from education because they couldn't really support all of the things they wanted to do. And it's 10 years later, and the education is still failing. And it's like, you know, take a portion of the money we make from pot and give it back to the education system. But Arizona voted it down.
2016 is when we had the referendum here in the States too, and it passed, but it took us over 2 years to actually get the shops around here where you can buy recreational weed. It takes a while. It's a long process, which is why it sucks. It sucks for any states that got the opportunity to go with it, and it got turned down, because now it's just going to take even more time. And whenever it gets voted in your state, it's going to take like 2 extra years for you to have the same benefits that everyone else does.
Mm-hmm. Tommy in the chat said marijuana counteracts the effects of addiction in the brain, and that would dissolve the heroin trade, which has become an economic engine of the, I have no fucking idea what that says, something services. And that's why it's still illegal. I mean, yeah, fucking shit. There's a lot of legal and illegal things that marijuana could replace, that would just fuck our economy up, but also be really, really good for it. Oh, but people like big businesses or like pharmaceutical businesses wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
The people that would suffer the most from That's the funny thing about it, is the people that would suffer the most from legalizing weed are like companies in fucking China and shit like that, who make so much money off clothing and shit where there's hemp alternatives that are much more worth the money and more durable. And if people started buying more of that American made shit, if it was legal here, then people would see a higher uprise in wanting to buy more quality products, and the higher quality products that you get, the less that you're going to have to buy them throughout the course of your life, and that just means less product waste, and that's just better for everyone in the long term, right?
But I disagree with you. I think the people who would suffer the most from the legalization of pot are people like me who don't smoke pot, because everyone's laughing at some stupid thing like, and it's like, no one said anything. What are you laughing at? And they would be everywhere.
It's not always like that. You need to hang around cool potheads.
Yeah.
You just need to be drunk.
Yeah.
I've been around.
Be unsober on something else.
I've been around some really bad ones. I used to live with some potheads who robbed me. So I'm not saying that pot was the reason, but it's like that's all they did was smoke pot. So
there's no group of people that's entirely free of its stereotypes that make the people seem bad, and that a lot of the time those stereotypes exist because there's some truth to them in a lot of people, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've met tons of people. Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between shitty people and pot smokers. Because, like, I met plenty of people who are shitty because they smoke pot, and people who are shitty, period, and they also happen to smoke pot. So, it really depends on the person.
But yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
So another interesting thing that happened, which just made me laugh hysterically, was Serena Williams. Remember how she blew up this year?
Oh, yeah.
She was accused of cheating, and instead of just letting it go, she just kept on and on and on, and then claimed it was racist.
Oh my god. I love it. I love when people
Black people can't cheat. Come on.
I'm a woman and
I'm
black. What is this?
That's like two minorities.
And her own code admitted her signals, which was illegal. You're not allowed to do that. And she still claims, I wasn't cheating. Maybe I looked at him, but I didn't see his suggestion.
Oh my god. He even admitted to it. Oh, like maybe if he also was like, nah, man, I didn't do anything. But he literally admitted.
Yeah. You gotta know when to fold and put out your cards, right? I mean, fuck. Just admit to it at that point, and you'll get some respect from some people. Rather than just lie
some
about
people
it
might be like, all right, at least you owned up to it, but
but fuck you anyway. Yeah.
One thing, I think. See, I don't know. I don't think that the Me Too movement had much to do with it at all, but I think that see, it's hard to tell, but first of all, I'm very glad that Backpage was taken down this year. That was a very good thing. And I think it was a couple other websites that were specifically for prostitution.
There was another thing that happened where I can't remember, the Craigslist got their personal section taken down too.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
See, I don't.
And I'll talk about OkCupid in just a moment, because that also big change for 2018. But you go action.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see why they took down the personals for Craigslist, because they were heavily abused and not filtered very well, because I personally found a friend of mine on there who was offering to begging to stay with someone in exchange for sex
stuff,
and the end. What's up? Okay. So it was an ad. It was just her explaining her situation, and then at the very end, out of nowhere, just yummy, yummy. I want cummy in my tummy.
Oh my god.
Well, you know what? The reason why
it probably works.
The reason why Craigslist took it down actually had nothing to do with prostitution. The issue was that there was going to be a bill passed in Congress that websites couldn't offer anything sexualized or mention anything sexualized for fear of human trafficking.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
why they took it down. They didn't want to be, and it would basically anyone could create a lawsuit against them for human trafficking violations, even though they weren't doing that. Nor were they responsible for what anyone was posting. You know what? We don't want to get into a lawsuit. We're taking it off. That was the only reason.
Well, I mean, I'm glad because, see, my town is known for one of the biggest. Yeah, is known for one of the biggest ports of child sex trafficking, and it disturbs me. And like, there's literally probably like a fucking what's it called?
A pedo on every corner.
Well, those big fucking boxes that they have at the ports. There's probably one full of children right now, and I can't do shit about it. And it pisses me the fuck off.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. I don't like to think about it, but it happens. And like, just the fact that Backpage was taken down, and you know that the Craigslist thing was taken down, and that might have potentially stopped, you know, some children from getting hurt. I'm very, very excited about that. This is a weird thing to say I'm excited about, but yeah, I'm very glad that that was taken down. And what surprised me, which I was not expecting, which after everything, after, you know, thinking about it, it's not surprising, but it did surprise me when I posted about this on my Facebook page, and I got a slew of insults and very angry sex workers telling me that I was a bad person and that I was against sex work simply because I was happy. Like I literally like stated this is great for, you know, stopping human trafficking, and they took that as, oh, you're sex negative, you hate sex workers. And it's like, well, I mean,
sex negative.
Yeah. Like, first of all, I mean, I don't glorify prostitutes to begin with. Like, I don't have any problem with them, but I'm not gonna, you know, say it's the best option in the world either.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna worship the ground that you walk on because you suck dick for money.
Exactly. You know? I'm not gonna be like, hey, come on. Like, there's nothing macho about this topic. False advertising. That's what my dog just.
Wow.
Well, hey, you know what?
It's macho because we fucking hoes. I don't know.
I take George Carlin's philosophy on this topic. Selling is legal, fucking is legal, but selling fucking is illegal.
Unless you film it. Unless you film it.
Unless you film it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I have nothing wrong.
I think prostitution should be legalized. The Amnesty International criticized the United States for not legalizing prostitution, which was a big shock to everyone. You know, it's not really that big of a problem. And in fact, some ways, the way things are going now, if men want to have a better chance of being with a prostitute where it's knowing that they're going to have sex, there's going to be no misunderstandings, or it's going to be severely reduced misunderstandings, versus trying to meet a woman in a bar and be afraid that she might accuse you of rape. I think for that alone, prostitution should be legalized, but I have a lot to talk about on this subject. I actually, issue with Craigslist didn't affect me personally too much, although I still hated it for why they did it. But because I wasn't getting much action on OkCupid. I wasn't looking, not OkCupid, Craigslist. I wasn't looking for prostitution. I was just looking for people to meet and maybe have sex with. And like for years, I hadn't met anyone on Craigslist. But OkCupid really changed the way they did things in 2018. And a lot of people say it's because Match.com owns them, was trying to destroy their business. But they made it because before with OkCupid, like if I met someone interesting, I saw an interesting profile, I'd message them and I'd give them like a paragraph or two. But then they set it up that the only way I could still send a message, but the only way that person would see a message from me is if they viewed my profile and said that they were interested in me.
Isn't that how Tinder works too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I haven't really used Tinder. I've done it here and there, and I just haven't got anything from it. But with OkCupid, that drastically changed. Before, it was like I maybe got one message back out of 25. Now I got 0. And there was, you know, my best asset is my ability to converse with someone. They can look, because most people begin with, and let's face it, I'm not that attractive of a male, but I'm very intelligent. You know, I have, you know, a lot of amazing thoughts, and I'm just a funny guy. And I could show that in conversing with people, and that's when people would give me a chance. But now I have to rely solely on my looks because that's all people are going to look at, and it just became a crapshoot.
It's very surface level, right? It's like they want people to judge a book by its cover. At least that's how it seems. But yeah, it just seems kind of backwards. I can see your frustration with that. I tried to bother with those types of like dating apps and shit, like maybe once or twice, but I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. And it never really has been.
I've met like a couple people. I met a friend, like a lady friend, a couple lady friends through that kind of stuff, but nothing more than that really. Like maybe like one hookup, and that was it. And it was well, actually no, I did meet my filmographer friend through Tinder. So it's better for friends than relationships from what I've experienced.
Yeah, I met a friend down there. I met a friend down there too. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Yeah.
But I think romantic relationships or sexual relationships or anything is much more or much easier when it's naturally introduced.
Yeah, that's how it should go, right? Trying to make it so artificial is almost like it can work every once in a while, which I see why people would, why not try, right? Maybe you'll meet someone that you're interested in that's close by, but at the same time, a lot of the time you just gotta let it happen naturally. That's how you'll get the best, longest lasting relationships.
Well, that's the unfortunate part for me is that because of my disability, you know, I can't work and it's hard to go out and meet people. All I have is the internet to try to create interactions. And I have friends all over the place, but I don't really have anyone who's local. I would love to have friends that are local. I'd love to hook up with girls that are local, but it's like, and that's just one avenue that's just been cut off. I mean, for the fear of sex trafficking, which I understand the necessity to try to enforce it, but it's caused like places like Craigslist to say, well, we don't want to be sued for this, so we're just going to punish everyone. And OkCupid changing things. And I've tried a lot of different dating websites I have, and most of them are crap. I mean, there was one that I'm quite certain was nothing but bots. And I even called the company because that's the only way I could cancel it. I'm like, no, these are all bots. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but we can assure you that we don't have bots on our site. I'm like, no, you do have bots on your site. So you need to cancel me now. It took me a half an hour for me to tell this woman, cancel my service, because that's all I was saying. Cancel. Well, we're going to offer you this service. I don't want an extra service. I want you to cancel.
Exactly.
Are you offering a bitch to suck my dick? Then no.
That is one good thing about the internet and all these like apps and websites too, though, right? Is that it gives you a bigger variety of people that you can introduce yourself with. Because what's the likelihood that you'll find someone who's compatible with you in your exact area, right? Much more likely that you'll find someone by interacting online with a variety of people from across the world. I mean, I know for sure that everyone I want to fuck is not near me, so that's just how it works.
There are people out there who want to fuck me, but I'm quite certain they're not in Arizona.
Let's just all go to VidCon and be each other's wingmen.
Yeah, good idea. Great idea.
All those ladies who want my dick, I will be in VidCon in 2020.
There you go. Oh, not even this year, next year.
Next year, you guys are going to have to wait.
Well, I hope Medusa goes for 2019 because I know she really wants to go. But I know for my finances and everything going on this year, it's not going to be a good year for me. So I'm aiming for next year.
See, well, I think maybe if my femdom thing gets off, I might make it.
Yeah, guys, people in the chat, you guys definitely need to get Medusa to VidCon. Like, do it seriously. Get her there. I'm not fucking around. Like, you need to make it happen, or else I'll yell at you.
Well, if there's going to be an orgy in 2019, then yeah, I'll try to go.
Okay. Oh, anywhere I am, there is an automatic orgy. What do you mean?
Instantly, at all times, within a 20-foot radius at least.
Hashtag automatic orgy.
Automatic orgy. Put that in the chat room and on Twitter, everywhere.
VidCon orgy, I'm in.
Also, hashtag tits for Mad Cat.
Well, yes, VidCon is poison. I'm not actually talking about the con. I'm talking about the people outside of the con. I'll probably not even set foot in the con.
Same here, honestly.
I'll just be there on all your dicks. Well, no, not literally on them, but yeah. Oh, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I went last year. It sucked. Probably not going again. Well, I thought you met a lot of people, Magog. People seemed really happy that they saw you. So,
hey, it's Magog, dude. I fucking love Magog. I'm glad to see him here.
Yeah, you better come. God,
I'd love to meet him, dude.
Yeah, you have to make sure nothing magic or. This is where the magic happens. How can you not be where the magic happens?
Yeah, seriously. But but Magog's really talented, dude. He deserves more subscribers than PewDiePie, in my humble opinion. He's that fucking good.
Oh, and now he says, and now all the people I met now hate each other. What does that mean? Why are people so? They're so shitty.
He might be talking about VidCon in 2017 or 2016 because there's a lot of people that went to one of those VidCons and now they all dislike each other. Or a lot of them do. Yeah, a lot of them do. Not everyone. Like, there's obviously still some people who are on good terms, but one of the big ones is that person who people don't like to name, Worski. He kind of like got on everyone's bad side, and now
I still don't know what happened.
Yeah. We don't have to get into it because it's a big long conversation, but yeah, there was quite a bit of breaking up, and like it's not even really a well-defined community, right? So it's hard. It's hard to determine. But
that's what I like. I don't really. I mean, I'm a neutral party. I'm
me too.
Switzerland all the time, so like. I guess I'm just like, whatever, if you don't like me, that's cool. Oh, like, I don't really do anything like that crazy, or provoking, so.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
All of this internet drama, I am Hawaii. Come lay on me.
Wait, what? Sorry, I could not hear that.
I said, in all this internet drama, I am Hawaii. Come lay on me.
Oh my god.
Do Hawaiians like have a tendency to be laid on? Like what's going on? I don't get it.
Laid.
Lay is the little flower necklace they give you.
Oh, okay. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm
the
dumb.
worst.
I'm retarded. Okay.
No, it's okay. It took me a minute too. Oh, it was Worski and Tonka? Huh. Okay. See, I don't know shit about that. That's okay. But see, I just don't care. I'm like, I love everyone. I wanna kiss Blair White on the face. She probably won't be there. But who knows?
I'd kiss her ass.
Well, I mean, I was trying to be PG, but yeah, if we talking the real, I always wanted to be with someone like her. So, oh, but yeah.
Since when were we PG? The whole time we've met each other, we've never been PG.
Hey, okay. Well, I don't want to be like, Blair, I want to fuck you like all the time, because then she'll be like, like, get away. Oh, like I know there's like pretty much every single YouTuber that I actually like would be really excited to see has anxiety like I do. So like I have to be like hello, like trying not to.
I definitely have that shit bad. Like,
oh yeah.
No,
but if someone was actually like excited to see me, I'd be like, yay! Like that would make me so happy.
I mean, I will.
Well, I have anxiety too, but I learned a technique from women. I fake it.
Exactly. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, I think, well, most of the people that like I already talked to, I feel like it would just be like, you know, meeting good friends again, like fucking Billy the Fridge. Oh my god, we would get along. Like I'd probably jump on top of him.
Yeah, he's a ton of fun.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, you gotta let it be a surprise, but yeah, it's a ton of fun.
I'm going to surprise attack him.
I want to really meet your boy Pat. Not very any sex craze stuff, but I just want to shake his hand.
He's awesome. Like, frick. I drew his face one time. That was fun. Oh. But yeah, anybody who sees me at VidCon if I go, love me, and I will be very happy.
Okay.
Love you.
Yeah. Oh. So, nope, Blair still has the peen. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, come on, that's the best part. What are you talking about?
There's only 5 dicks I will suck.
What?
And I reserved her as number 2.
Wait, who's number 1?
I don't know. I just made that joke off the top of my head.
Yeah, shit.
I was like,
Man, you had me there. I was like, man, I gotta know the rest.
No, see. What YouTuber?
Okay, by next week, I will make up a list of 5 dicks I'm willing to suck.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I gotta know. Now I gotta know.
Please.
It's gonna kill me, the anticipation.
Or rather, the other 4, since I already named Blair White. So
yeah, that's true. As number 2.
Wait, shit. Are you not going to tell us? Because I actually want to know.
He said he was gonna make it for next week.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He said he was gonna make it for next week.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Shit. Well. Because I can think of him like right now.
Oh well.
Well.
Yes, but you like sucking dick, so.
See, I'd definitely go for. See, I don't know. I would totally fuck Mercedes Carrera, but she
doesn't have a dick.
No, she's just eaten so much ass.
She's done a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's her on the mouth.
I want to though. She's so beautiful. But I'm just gonna be thinking about all that man ass she had in her mouth. Oh, I'm just kidding. But no, like this one video I found, it was a compilation of her eating ass, and I was like, oh, I love you, but damn. Like that's one thing I probably couldn't do unless it was a very feminine and clean man. I've never even done it to a woman, so. Oh. Yeah,
I've had
no,
others
I'll eat the
lick
pussy.
my
though.
ass, but I won't lick theirs.
Wait, what? You said you'd let someone lick your ass?
I have let others lick my ass.
Oh, same.
Wow.
It's not bad. Dude, one
It's
chick.
something.
Oh my god! Like within the first 5 minutes of meeting her, she was already at my house, and my friend. She was a friend of a friend, and she was very drunk, and she just immediately was like, "Can I take you to the bedroom?" And I was like, yes." She immediately started licking my pussy and my ass, and I was like, "Okay, I just came home from work, but go for it."
Yeah,
So,
isn't that the best thing to come home to? I mean,
Yeah.
So in other words, you raped her because she was drunk and you were not.
hashtag me too.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They haven't found out yet. No, but that's one thing that pisses me off so much about this Me Too shit is that, like, I mean, I'm gonna make a video about this eventually. Just talking about every single thing that's ever happened to me. But the first people that I was ever molested by were women. And like, if I came out and was like, this specific person and this specific person assaulted me, even if they were in a position of power, nobody would give a flying shit.
Yeah, because people's perspective is so skewed. They only care about celebrities being raped by other celebrities, supposedly, right?
Male celebrity.
Well, not even
Male
that.
celebrity. Yeah.
You have to be a male raping a woman.
Exactly.
Any other combination is not acceptable, even though within the lesbian community, rape is far higher than any other group.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, like fucking shoot. I can imagine like when I don't know, chicks are really manipulative, so there's just all kinds of situations that arise from that.
Well,
but like,
I remember there's a video of Janice Fiamingo talking at some location, and there are some like women up in the stands just harassing her, and she made that comment, and one of the girls stood up and was like, "I want proof. You show proof right now. You're fucking lying." And it's like, you hear a difference of opinion, your first instinct is to argue about it. I'm like, yeah, that woman has probably raped other women. She's just so adamant about it being false that it couldn't possibly be true. And it's like, that sounds like someone who's in denial.
Sounds like someone who's afraid that they might be looked after in the future if women are actually persecuted for the same type of fucking shit. Wouldn't that be something?
yeah, I mean, like, shoot, like it's one thing to just talk about it, but then to actually be persecuted, like that's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, shoot, I think the first time was when I was like 7 years old, and it actually all happened in like the same town too. It was a fucked up town in Pennsylvania. These fucking like these girls would just manipulate me and be like, yeah, we're gonna play a game. No, I was fucking like 3 years old. Sorry, flashbacks. Fucking I was like 3 years old, and chicks were trying to get me to stick weird objects into my body, and it was really disturbing. And nobody gives a shit about that stuff. If I tell them about that, like, honestly, most of the time when I tell people that I was molested by chicks, they're like, "Oh, tell me more," and it's like, "Oh, not like that, dude, not like that."
Yeah, no.
Well, like, I've had good experiences. Those were not.
Yeah,
Who's that
seriously.
famous woman who did the show Girls on HBO?
Oh,
Lena Dunham.
Fucking Lena Dunham.
Yeah, I mean, she wrote a book where she actually talked about manipulating her younger sister with giving her candy to making out with her and playing around with her, and even inserting things into her vagina, which is a clear case of her molesting her little sister. And yet, whenever this was pointed out, the response was, "Oh, you're just trying to make her out to be a rapist. There's nothing wrong with what she did." And it's like, yeah, there is. She exploited her sister for her own personal use. And then there was that one comedian everyone really hates, that female blonde chick. I mean, I can't remember her name, but she talked about on stage about how she called a guy over for a booty call, but he was already drunk and he passed out and she decided to have sex with him anyways.
Oh, wow. That's a great thing to fucking admit. That wasn't.
And she admitted it on stage, and people were just laughing, and she was glorifying how great it was. Amy Schumer, thank you.
What the fuck?
Oh, of course it was Amy Schumer.
I have not heard that. Holy shit. That is disgusting.
Sure, you can find it on
female comedians get away with that all the time, though, don't they? I mean, I've heard that type of shit all the time, constantly. Like, they say that controversial shit and get away with it because no one's looking at what they say. No one's stalking their Twitters and their social media accounts for every edgy thing that they've ever said in their life, right? I'm sure 20 years down the line from now, everything that they've said will be looked at fucking as disgusting as it truly is by us, right? More people will see it that way. At least I hope so.
I hope so. Sooner or later, I hope that all of their actions come under fire. I mean, it reminds me of Leslie Jones. She's the most racist person there is. She's always talking about how bad white people are, how evil white people are. But someone who's a follower of Milo Yiannopoulos compares her to a gorilla, and suddenly Milo is very, very racist against Leslie Jones. She has trauma, and yet she's more racist than anyone I've ever seen.
See, earlier when you were talking about the person or the other person, or it was, Roseanne comparing someone to a gorilla, that's the person that comes to mind. And, like, I'm sorry, but Leslie Jones, like, Milo made a decent comparison. Nothing wrong with that. It's just,
well, Milo didn't even
compare her to a gorilla.
Milo just said that she was underutilized for the Ghostbusters film. They just made her out to be a racist stereotype. I don't think he actually compared her to a gorilla. And she complained that he was being racist.
Oh my god. See, I saw an article about that, like, in a tabloid magazine. Like, that's how I saw a picture of Milo Yiannopoulos in, like, a Us Weekly magazine talking about that shit.
Well, someone did create a fake account of Milo and then made that accusation, but it was proved that it wasn't Milo who actually made that post. It was a hack. It was a fake account.
Really? Wow.
Did he actually?
He called her Harambe.
It doesn't matter, though, because the damage is done, and now the majority of people probably think he actually said that, which is such fucking bullshit.
Wait. Was it his followers or him? I don't fucking know.
I thought it was his followers who called her Harambe. I don't think he actually did.
Either
way, it's still just a joke. Like,
well, even if you did compare her, it's not necessarily racist. I mean, have you seen Leslie Jones? She's a big hulking mass, like a gorilla.
Ticks out.
Why does it have to be a racist thing? Why can't it be a fat joke?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, Magog said
it in the chat. I was making fun of your weight.
Magog said in the chat, it's like the perfect example of fake news, how that shit spreads around and it can ruin someone's, I mean, Milo said plenty of stupid fucking shit that he's actually said, so don't get me wrong, but it's really bullshit that someone can have the perception, like, completely innocently that someone's actually said something and it just can be completely untrue. It could be true about any of us that could one day, like, have that type of shit about us out there. It's pretty bullshit.
Well, and it almost affected Kavanaugh this year with Christina Blasey Ford. Yeah. I mean, she openly admitted she doesn't know when it happened, where it happened, or any of the circumstances in which it happened. Only, hey, that guy over there raped me 40 years ago.
Because all people see is the surface level accusation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we have to believe her. Why? There's no evidence. I mean, if you could give me some actual details and she could explain it in explicit detail, then I'd be willing to give her the benefit of the doubt that maybe it should be investigated further. Not to automatically believe her, mind you, but it's like, you know, she has some sort of evidence. But she didn't. She had nothing. And yet the media was just swarming around her. The Democrats were swarming. And even people outside were trying to bang to get in there because of one woman lying. And she was lying. I mean, I don't know that 100% sure, but you know what? If you can't remember anything at all your testimony rests on I was raped and that's it, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah, I go by the old school idea that if you're going to make a claim of any sort, then you should have evidence to back it up. And I'm not just going to believe anything that you say on faith, no matter how serious of a subject it is. In fact, if it is a serious subject like fucking rape, I'm going to require like more defined evidence and more clear-cut proof of something before I take it seriously.
Sorry, I just found something really funny. That was a really inappropriate time to start laughing.
Yeah? What is it?
I'm looking on Twitter. I was looking at like my old tweets because I made this short video like at Milo or whatever, and I was trying to find it and and I tweeted at Leafy is here like last year, and I was watching a video, or I was watching one of his videos about Onision, and it's like a picture of him, like, you know, with the vegetarian body. But then, like, YouTube glitched out, and instead of the title being Leafy is here's title, it says things not to say to someone with a facial disfigurement.
Yeah, I've
like,
had
on top of his face.
I've had a few times where I click on a link and the wrong video plays, you know, but it's like the different description and comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a common YouTube error. They need to get that shit fixed. It's been like that for years. I don't know what the fuck goes wrong.
Oh, anyway.
But I hope this isn't an issue, but I'm gonna have to like around at least before like 10:20, I'm gonna have to hop off here and
we
get
usually
ready for another show.
9:30, but it's just so fun talking to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah. But yeah, any other thing, like last minute things that people can think of that happened in 2018, feel free to put them in the chat, or questions. We might have answers or more questions for your questions.
Let us know.
Let's see. If someone makes a fake Magog account and starts being nice to people, I'll be pissed.
That would totally go against the character. Yeah, that's lawsuit worthy if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Well, now I know what I'll do for April Fool's Day.
She alleged sexual molestation in explicit detail, but her inconsistent details damn and manipulative test. Wait, fuck. You're very hard to understand sometimes, Tommy.
Yeah.
Stop texting on your phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like look into my soul and try and read that again to try and comprehend what that was said.
That's okay. I think he's talking about Lena Dunham. Whatever. Let's not talk about molestation anymore.
Oh yeah, we've had about Blasey Ford.
What?
That, you know, I guess she did have explicit detail about the rape that happened, but there was inconsistency in her story, and that's why a lot of people didn't believe her.
For Ford?
Yeah, for Ford.
Oh yeah, no, fuck her. Oh god, every time I think about her, I think about this video. If you haven't seen it, look up shit, hang on. body language ghost. Body language ghost does a video about actually I don't even know if that's what it's called. But body language, Christine Ford, she's like a professional body language analyst who looks at her mannerisms and, you know, body language and basically discerns that she is full of shit. So yeah, I mean, that shit makes me very upset, and the fact that I know women who support her and have tried to get me and other people to support her. And because of this stuff coming out, they're like, yes, women, yay, pussy power. We're destroying the patriarchy by falsely accusing or something. Like, why? That's not really a good thing. Oh my god. Hey, I can do that myself. Thank you very much.
Well, speaking of Leslie Jones, gorillas are no longer critically endangered.
Wait, what's not critically endangered?
Gorillas. They're still endangered, but no longer critically so. So their population has increased in 2018.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's because Twitter finally got rid of Milo, dude. He was culling down their numbers.
Oh, I will mention one really good thing, because I guess California legalized pot, but they made it illegal for parents to put their children on beta blockers.
Yeah.
Which was a big shock for California.
Wait,
That's
they
crazy,
banned it?
Yeah,
Yes.
they banned the practice of putting children on hormone blockers.
Good.
Yeah, I'm surprised that California had the sense to do that. But
yeah,
I'm glad. But yeah, I mean, like that shit just fucks with you bad unless you went through puberty. So just
unless you should have you should be an adult and have an informed decision before you decide to do that type of business.
Wait until you're like Bruce Jenner's age. No.
No, not that long. You don't have to wait that long.
Oh fuck. Yeah. Shoot. Does anyone want to start shilling?
Well, let our guest do it, and then I'll go.
All right. So I just I guess I'll just shill this. I do a podcast called Underhaven on Saturdays at 3:15 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can watch that. Medusa's been on it before. We had a really good episode with her, and I really enjoyed it. We'll have her on again at some point. And I guess one other thing, I've got twitch.tv/realanimancer. I'm starting to do solo streams now where I'm just chilling out and talking to the chat. So if you're interested in that, check me the fuck out there. And thank you guys for having me on because I really enjoy doing these. I'll come on anytime.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently I haven't been invited on his show, so on Saturdays at 3:16 p.m., I will be hosting.
Man, you got me. You got me.
Oh, God.
All right, so you can find all my information down below because Medusa's good like that. Or at least I trust that she's doing that. You can check me out on Patreon. I'm not popular enough to be thrown off Patreon, so still support me there. But I think I'm going to start looking for another platform to do, but it was just so hard for me to get the $30 a month I already get. So I'm less inclined to do so. But every little bit helps. I'm trying to raise money to get medical insurance. I know I'm not doing too many videos on my website, but I'm helping out Modern Medusa. So, yes, American Circumcision film. Everyone go watch that. It's a good film. Anywho, if you don't want to do Patreon, I do have my PayPal down there. Or consider buying one of my books. Or not one of my books. Consider buying my book, How to Destroy a Woman Now, which was a book I wrote in response to another book, How to Destroy a Man Now, which is a really horrible, horrible book. At the very least, my book says, right away, jump to the last chapter. And the last chapter says, don't do anything featured in this book. Because, you know, what I wrote, it's immoral, but it's not illegal. And the first book told you to do some illegal shit.
That's crazy.
So I'm hoping my book gets popular enough that some angry feminist somewhere is like, well, this is what Amazon has on their page, and it's misogynistic and blah, 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 because, you know, they'll never read it. And then Amazon takes it down, and then we'd be like, well, wait a minute, Amazon, why'd you take that book down and not the other one? I want both books taken down. So buy that book, because it does give me a little bit of money. It gives me like $2 for every book purchased. And make it popular. And Medusa's on the cover.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's the best part. Hell yeah.
And
Stuttered
also,
really hard.
and also, I will try very, very hard this weekend. I will be doing a re-showing of this episode, and I will be in the chat. So if you want to come and talk to me directly on the chat, you can. So
Yes. Quick thank you again to Chris for sending us the email. If anybody else wants to share their story or come on the show, you know, either message me or Mad Cat on Twitter, or you can send it to the email. We're gonna try to get more into checking that weekly and see if we can do if more people start emailing, then we could do a a little email segment or some shit like that.
Yeah, like a Q&A or something. That'd be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so you know what I do. I do the arts. I do the tits. I have the tits.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you guys know what I do. I don't have Patreon anymore, but I got the PayPal, and I mean, I also have like Venmo and like Google Pay and like Amazon. If you like stuff on my Amazon wish list, like this lovely sexy kimono, then you can get me stuff like that in the description. Oh, so yeah. Just
I got her socks.
What now?
I got you socks.
Yes, you did. I love them socks. Buy me more socks.
Yeah, she's a fire socks.
I also have a new Twitter account. Actually, I have Twitter accounts now for my dog and for my my dominatrix shit. I don't even know. I can't call myself a dominatrix. I'm so not.
I was looking for you to take this out.
Oh shit.
I go a little more hardcore.
Oh my god.
So you're into edge play. Okay.
Oh, but no. Yeah.
Well,
Follow me.
Your sword with my lightsabers.
I need some of those. But yeah, follow all of us on the socials and tune in next week.
What's your dominatrix Twitter handle?
Medusa Femdom. Oh, I'm Mistress Medusa. I wanted it to be Mommy Medusa, but I'm just gonna tell everybody to call me Mommy anyways.
Okay. I was gonna do that anyway, so I'll just do that.
I'm trying to just get like an army of people who call me that.
Yeah.
They're all my children.
I would send dick pics to Modern Medusa on Twitter, but then that means everyone else has to see my dick pics, and I don't know. I just want there to be some mystery.
I do not show them to people. I don't blast the D. That would be disrespectful.
I don't mean do a DM to you. I mean publicly show you my penis.
Oh, okay. My bad. Sorry. Oh, no, not at VidCon. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay, but yeah, you know where to follow us, and tune in next week.
Next
to the Macho Show.
Oh, Macho Show.
All right, peace, dudes.
See ya.